My name is Lucy Ann Hurston. I am the niece of Zora Neale Hurston. The Hurston Wright Foundation I have been a part of since it began um, many years ago with Clyde McIlvaine and Marita Golden. They're the ones that introduced me to their important mission, and I believe in it so much so that now that I am retired from a 25-year college teaching career, that I have dedicated my efforts to the foundation, and in that capacity I am now the chair of the advisory board. I've been on the advisory board since its inception, but now I am leading up the efforts to get us more involved and to do more outreach for the foundation in the name of the advisory board.
I am a Black woman. Mari Evans, 1923 to 2017. I am a Black woman. The music of my song, Some Sweet Arpeggio of Tears, is written in a minor key, and I can be heard humming in the night. Can be heard humming in the night. I saw my mate leap screaming to the sea, and I, with these hands, cupped the life breath from my issue in the canebrake. I lost Nat's swinging body in a rain of tears and heard my son scream from Anzio for peace he never knew. I learned Da Nang and Pork Chop Hill in anguish. Now my nostrils know the gas, and these trigger-tired fingers seek the softness in my warrior's beard. I am a Black woman, tall as a cypress, strong beyond all definition, still defying place and time and circumstance, assailed, impervious, indestructible. Look on me and be renewed. Mari Evans, I am a Black woman. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Nichelle M. Hayes, and I am the Executive Director of the Zora Neale Hurston Richard Wright Foundation, which was founded in 1990 by Marita Golden and Clyde McIlvaine. It was founded to bring together Black writers and support them. And we used the namesakes of two amazing Black writers from the Harlem Renaissance. Today, we're going to be celebrating poetry, and we have two poets who are going to be sharing poems with us. First, we will have Aaliyah Janelle, and then we will have Christelle Victoria Roach. This will be a time that we can enjoy poetry and commune together, as well as make donations to the Hurston Wright Foundation. We are able to do the work of the foundation because of your support. Every dollar has dignity. No donation is too small, and no donation is too large. If you go to our website, www.hurstonwright.org, you can click on the donate button and make a donate secure online. You can also mail in a money order or a check if you'd like to do that to our office, and we will give that address at a later time. Next, we have Aaliyah Janelle, and she will come to us with her poem.
The poem I selected to read by Nikki Giovanni is her kidnap poem. This one is one of my personal favorites. Ever been kidnapped by a poet? If I were a poet, I'd kidnap you. Put you in my phrases and meter you to Jones Beach, or maybe Coney Island, or maybe just to my house. Lyric you in lilacs, dash you in the rain, blend into the beach to complement my sea, play the lyre for you, ode you with my love song, anything to win you. Wrap you in the red, black, green, show you off to mama, yeah. If I were a poet, I'd kidnap you. This next piece is one of my original poems, inspired by the last poem I just read, titled It Was Something I Ate. I read a poem, took it just as is, it did not do. Starved, so I ate a poem, words pressed into my taste buds, my teeth stained, my lips blackened, so I licked the language off. Residue sat on the sides of my mouth. It began to itch until I wiped with my hand. The poem dried on my skin and inside me. I was full. Finally, I was something. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I love that. So, can you tell me what drew you to Nikki Giovanni initially, and then how did that inform the poem that you created?
Wow, I think the first time I ever read a piece by Nikki Giovanni was at my previous undergrad institution, ASU, and I discovered her in one of my intermediate poetry classes, and then honestly, I just fell in love with just the way she wrote and just how truthful and honest she was to not only her feelings, but her feelings as a Black woman. But this particular poem, I just liked how she took love and then kind of integrated it with poetry, which is also something that I'm sure that she loved just as much. And just her language, just of taking a lover and just blending it into something that she loved, is something I find myself doing on a regular basis too. So
Thank you. So, I guess my next question would be so Nikki Giovanni is someone that you admire, and what is it that you would like to impart to poets who are listening to you right now?
oh wow. Just to continue to love, to be honest, especially in the times that we are in right now. I think especially as poets have always been truth bearers, so to never stop discovering the truth, to find the truth within ourselves and to find the truth within other people.
Thank you for that charge. We appreciate it. And we're better for having heard you and for being in community with you. And that's what's so great about the arts. And this is the time when artists do art. Because you are speaking in a different way and in a more powerful way than anyone else. And so the pen really is mightier than the sword. And many years from now, people will hear your words and read your words, and they will be moved by it. And that is a power and it's a responsibility. But we believe in you and we know that you're up for the challenge, and we're here at Hurston Wright Foundation to support you.
Thank you.
Our next artist is Christelle Victoria Roach.
I'm excited to be sharing a poem that resonates with me, that I think about as often as I think about Dance with My Father by Luther Vandross, and how it's such a beautiful song and it's beautifully tragic, and it's something that, just breaks you open in a good way. The Bones of My Father by Etheridge Knight. There are no dry bones here in this valley. The skull of my father grins at the Mississippi moon from the bottom of the Tallahatchie. The bones of my father are buried in the mud of these creeks and brooks that twist and flow their secrets to the sea. But the wind sings to me. Here the sun speaks to me of the dry bones of my father. There are no dry bones in the northern valleys, in the Harlem alleys. Young, Black, men with knees bent nod on the stoops of tenements and dream of the dry bones of my father. And young white long hairs who flee their homes and bend their minds and sing their songs of brotherhood and no more wars are searching for my father's bones. There are no dry bones here. We hide from the sun. No more do we take the long straight strides. Our steps have been shaped by cages that kept us. We glide sideways like crabs across the sand. We perch on green lilies. We search beneath white rocks. There are no dry bones here. The skull of my father grins at the Mississippi moon from the bottom of the Tallahatchie. Etheridge Knight. And so I'll read a poem that makes me think about legacy, lineage, what we inherit, what we pass on, and our relationship to it. If I should die before I awake, here's what you must know. Child, some sweet years will vanish before you. Do not let them leave you out there landlocked. Even the streets, the trees all know your kin. Firstborn daughters, you must learn the mothers. Group all the sons by their ancestral lands. How many children will bear dead forenames? I vow I'll return to you, cheek by cheek, just to help you all carry on your breath. Keep burying the dead at every birth. Let the death angel come in his trios. Morning comes heavy as a newborn day. No one forgets the child who chased the names once lost to time. Starting with the book of pictures, you can place and carefully date. Query each page like a lost, lonely child. Research is just a matter of longing. So, who all y'all wish you knew today? Check the churches, the state, the manifests, the wills. Use Grandma's Bible and programs from the viewing. Save 2 copies of each old thing. Whatever you do, keep the albums in the house. X in the books, a sign they could not write. You know much more than you might ever think. Zion never showed itself without a petition, so all I know is to leave you closer.
Christelle Victoria, thank you so much for sharing that. As I said before, Etheridge Knight is one of my favorite poets, and he talks a lot about family. And then he was talking about the Tallahatchie River, which was in Mississippi, and his family was from Mississippi. So he brings in a lot of those. And then talking about the dry bones, which makes me think of scripture in the Old Testament, which talks about, can these bones live? So can we rejuvenate dry bones? And I think in the times that we're living in now, can we rejuvenate the promise of America as we celebrate the supposed 250 years of freedom for the people? And we know it's freedom for some, but not for all. And so I think it's up to the artists and the people that love art to support that and to push on to what we really need and want. We have to be more than aspirational. So I really love that you were sharing that. And then in your piece where you were talking about the obituaries and take 2 and save those and put those to the side. That's something I live and breathe because I'm a genealogist. And so one of my favorite sayings is family first. And so it's something that I try to live. So I just felt like I was right in your poem. I felt like I was right beside you, and that maybe you and I have been doing things together. And we're at the funeral, we're sitting together, and we're like, can I get 2? Because that's what we do, you know, in the Black family. And so I just thought that was really rich. And it It was exciting and interesting to listen to both you and Aaliyah. The poems were so different, but they still spoke to us. And that's what poetry is all about. Everybody is coming from a different vantage point. And I love the way we can bring in the elder poets and then bring in younger poets, and then how those come together and have synergy. And there's enough room for everyone. So thank you so much for sharing that with me.
My name's Marita Golden, and I'm co-founder and president emerita of the Zora Neale Hurston Wright Foundation. I'm a writer as well as a writing coach. Well, we need our own dedicated space because we're living and writing in a hostile environment in America. We're living and writing in a society that is needing to be constantly pushed to make space for us and to give us the recognition and opportunities that are ours by citizenship and by right and by birth. And so the spaces that the Hurston Wright Foundation has created in workshops, in the public readings, in the recognition, in the ceremonies are very important to signal to Black writers that they do have community, they do have spaces where their stories are assumed to be valid and to have genius.
So, Victoria, can you tell me why you picked that poem from Etheridge Knight?
Honestly, choosing this poem from Etheridge Knight, I think it's where I am right now. I think it's, considering just how Toni Morrison says, like, this is precisely the time that artists go to work, I've been thinking a lot myself about what to do, in spite of everything, what to do about everything. And I think I really like this poem because, what I love about Etheridge is all of his poems, they don't shy away from, reality. They don't try to make it something that it's not. Don't try to just make it pretty for the sake of poetry or anything like that, but they still compel and conflict and, just get you into the poem. And I think that, in the same way, reading his poetry, I just feel like, oh, we've been here before. We've survived. We've resisted. We've overcome. We've been through so much. And I think that I really like this poem because even thinking about the ways that, like, he's reflecting in the poem about the bones of my father, I think that moment when he goes to the Harlem boys and the white boys with the long hair, even they are dreaming of his father's bones. It's just like everyone's longing for rootedness, everyone's longing for connection, and yet we still shy away from the ugly parts we don't want to talk about while we still suffer their consequences. So I think that this is a poem that is very much rooted, and I appreciate that. And it reminds me that the success of the oppressor is convincing you of your oppression. And honestly, I just feel really compelled to remain present in my poetry and not let my poetry become something that's outward facing, like an escape, but something that helps me to chew, to process, our reality, because that's what we're all trying to do.
Thank you. And so how do those two poems connect, both Etheridge's poem and your original poem that you shared?
I think that honestly, what I was getting from his poem specifically is the lineage element. And I think there's so much love in the poem. It's tough. Like, I feel like, when you think about love, nobody asks you to love somebody, you don't get any choice all the time. And so when you are initiated into loving, it's like you're there. And then once you realize you're there, it's like, what do I do with this? How do I pass this on? How do I remember this even in this person's absence? And so I think that the root of the lineage and the legacy is a deep love for not only his family, but for culture, for our people, especially thinking about the Tallahatchie, the bones of my father smiling beneath the Tallahatchie, and what that means, especially in that time, what it's in the wake of, as he's talking to Black boys. I think that thinking about lineage, thinking about legacy, and the choice and active seeking that love requires of you. That's what I was thinking about in my poem. I'm just trying to be a good ancestor, honestly. I think I had great ancestors who were genealogists, who they scrapbooked and collect photos, and they did all this stuff, interviewed their grandmothers, and now my family has like an archive reaching back before Miami was even a city, And so I think because I had great ancestors, I had great grandmothers, I want to very actively and consciously be one, even as I just am myself. So I think I was just very conscious about legacy and lineage and deep intentional love in the same way.
Thank you. And so you are a part of that tapestry. And so it's much like a quilt, and you've come upon the quilt and you're putting your square in there that fits in with all of the others. And it makes a beautiful piece of art. And it's one that speaks to the future and to the present. So again, thank you very much for all that you do. We see you, we appreciate you. And the world is better for all the poets, Aaliyah Janelle and Christelle Victoria. Thank you so much.
These are our stories, and we should not trust them to other people who historically have not sort of done things in our best interests. Our stories should be told by our people, should be communicated by our libraries, should be reproduced by our publishers. I'm not trying to exclude anyone from the space, but I think that there is a sensitivity to Black stories, both now, contemporarily, but also historically, that we have to look at and be sensitive to when we're producing Black literature.
Phyllis Wheatley Peters, 1753 to 1784. Phyllis was one of the best-known poets in the pre-19th century America. Educated and enslaved in the household of a prominent Boston commercialist, John Wheatley, lionized in New England and England, with presses in both places publishing her poems, and paraded before the New Republic's political leadership and the old empire's aristocracy. Whitley was the abolitionist's illustrative testimony that Blacks could be both artistic and intellectual. Her name was a household word among literate colonists, and her achievements a catalyst for the fledgling anti-slavery movement. Wheatley was seized from Senegal or Gambia, West Africa, when she was about 7 years old. She was transported to the Boston docks with a shipment of refugee slaves who, because of age or physical frailty, were unsuited for rigorous labor in the West Indian and Southern colonies, the first ports of call after the Atlantic crossing. In the month of August 1761, in want of a domestic, Susanna Wheatley, wife of John Wheatley, purchased a slender, frail female child for a trifle because the captain of the slave ship believed the waif was terminally ill, and he wanted to gain at least a small profit before she died. A Wheatley relative later reported that the family surmised the girl, who was of slender frame and evidently suffering from a change of climate, nearly naked, with no other covering than a quantity of dirty carpet about her, to be about 7 years old, from the circumstances of shedding her front teeth. Phyllis would go on to learn how to read and write and to live with that family, and she would not be emancipated until much later. Now I want to share a snippet of one of her poems. These lines talked about patriots who confessed Christianity yet oppress her people. And I think that's something that we're living in today. But how presumptuous shall we hope to find divine acceptance with the almighty mind, while yet, O deed ungenerous, they disgrace and hold in bondage Africa, blameless race. Let virtue reign and then accord our prayers. Be victory ours and generous freedom theirs. Phyllis Wheatley Peters, 1753, 1784. So she is the first known published poet of African descent in the Americas. If you don't know anything about her, please do your own research and learn about her poetry. I think it still resonates to us today. We learned a lot from Aaliyah Janelle and Christelle Victoria, and we thank them so much. Both of them are Legacy Award winners, and because of their work that they're putting out to the world, we are all better people. And again, we encourage everyone to make a donation to Hurston Wright. Again, you can go to our website, hurstonwright.org, and click on the donate button. And also encourage a friend. Maybe get together a group of people and encourage them to donate. Statistics show that when you tell others about your donation, that encourages them to make a donation, and that impact grows. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you. And that's all for today. Bye-bye.